Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this week I wanted to share my April plan with me in my bullet journal. I use the Minimalism Art Dotted Journal. I'll put a link in the description in case you wanted to get this. I got it on Amazon and I really like it. I've been using this journal for a couple years now. For this month I wanted to do a theme of gnomes and mushrooms. I really like gnomes and mushrooms, so I thought it was appropriate since April is also my birthday month. So I wanted to do something that I was really happy about. For this, the title page, I just used a simple squiggly font for the word April, and then I have 3 gnomes in the middle, which each have really big noses and big old ears, and I love that. And also a tiny little calendar at the bottom, just as an overview calendar. So now that I've finished working on all of the line art, I'm taking my kneaded eraser and just going over those pencil lines with it just to get rid of some of that pencil line before I go in with my Crayola Super Tips and add color. So for this next page, well, I guess the page before that, I just included this quote by Mary Engelbrett, I think it is, and it just says, "Happiness must be grown in one's own garden," and I think that's really important to remember right now. Currently, we're in the social distancing because of the coronavirus. Talking, take two, because of the coronavirus, and so I just really think that it's important to do what you can to continue being happy and joyful and finding peace despite the crazy situation and how stressed out everybody is. I also drew out a little mushroom and colored it in with my blue Crayola Super Tip after I erased all the pencil lines, just to give this page a nice cheery look. And I also like this mushroom because it kind of looks like a little hat. So for my monthly spread, I tend to use the same layout for each month. I do rows of 6x6 space boxes with one space in between each row. And I just do this because it gives me plenty of room to put out if I'm working, or if I have an appointment, or if my grandfather has an appointment because I take him to all of his appointments. Just anything that I need to include, I'm able to include in this. It gives me lots of space for adding in birthdays and just everyday life things that I need to remember. For the font at the top, I just chose to use a simple script font. Just wrote out April, and I drew in a little bulbous mushroom, because bulbous mushrooms, why not? And then on the other side, the other page, I definitely have a little gnome, and his hat is obnoxiously tall, and it is wonderful. Finished erasing all of my pencil lines with my muted eraser, I went in with my super tips and just colored in a little bit of the mushroom and some of the gnome just to give it a little spike of color. After I finished with the gnome, I went in with my corally red color super tip and added a little dot in the corner of each box, and then I went over that with my Signal white gel pen to add in the days of the week. This next page is my habit tracker and brain dump, and for my habit tracker, I decided to do something a little bit different, and I just outlined the shape of the month instead of putting in all the little numbers, though on a side note, I have already gone back in and filled in those boxes with the numbers because I just like the way that looks a little bit better than the empty spot. For the banner at the top, I drew a little gnome and his hat is blowing off to the side like it's really windy, and I wrote habit tracker in there. I also drew in a little mushroom house just because it's cute and I like it. So for my habit trackers, I didn't actually include any of these in the video because I hadn't decided quite what I wanted to put in there yet, but things I've decided on because of the time that we're in right now are things that really are important to remember right now, like taking walks and creating art. I need to remember to do my dishes, so those are kind of some things. Calling a friend, drinking water, making sure I'm taking care of my own mental health as well as other people's mental health in this time. On the other page, I have my brain dump, and I just kept that pretty simple, just an outline on the sides and then some little mushrooms in the center, well, in the corner, so that I can just write out whatever I need to think about for that month. I used to do a YouTube planner on this page, but I've actually switched to just having a separate bullet journal for my YouTube channel so that I can keep all of that stuff together instead of having to flip through my personal planner to find all of those things. I then went in with my Crayola super tips and just added some color to make this page a little bit more lively since I kind of kept it a little more simple. My first weekly spread, I typically do a more vertical layout with boxes, but since my work is shut down and I'm not using this quite as often, I decided to try this horizontal layout, and I did 9 spaces down with a space in between each layout and just kind of drew lines to kind of signify boxes, and then I went in and drew some cute mushrooms to put the days of the week in. And like all the other pages, I went in with my Crayola super tips and just added little pops of color here and there. I pretty much just used the red and the blue for this. I did go in with some brown as well on the undersides of the mushrooms. So that's pretty much it. Here's just a quick flip through of my pages. Hope you guys enjoyed this and have a great week.